Why you can't focus like you used to. And it's not ADHD. There was a time when you could sit with one thing, a book, a task, a thought, and you didn't need tricks to stay there. Now you sit down with good intentions, and something pulls you away almost immediately. Not urgently, not dramatically, just a quiet nudge, a thought, a reflex, a habit you don't remember choosing. You open your phone without deciding to. You switch tabs without realizing why. You stand up without finishing what you started. And later, you tell yourself you'll focus tomorrow. But tomorrow feels the same. Here's what matters. This didn't happen because something went wrong with you. It happened because something worked. Your mind learned a new rhythm, fast, reactive, fragmented, and once it learned it, it didn't unlearn it on its own. Most people assume focus is something you either have or don't, like talent, like discipline. That's wrong. Focus is a state your brain enters when it believes staying is worth it. And right now, your brain doesn't believe that anymore. Not because it's damaged, but because it's been rewarded for leaving. Think about how often your attention gets interrupted, not just by notifications, but by your own impulses. The moment something slows down, the moment effort starts to build, the moment there's no immediate payoff, your mind reaches for something else. And every time it does, it gets relief. That relief is small, but it's consistent. And consistency trains behavior. Your brain doesn't analyze your goals, it tracks patterns. What leads to ease? What removes tension? What stops that restless feeling fastest? Over time, one pattern becomes dominant. When things get quiet, leave. When things get difficult, leave. When nothing is happening yet, leave. So, your ability to stay didn't disappear. It was replaced. Now, staying feels heavy. Leaving feels natural. That's the shift most people miss. They think focus vanished. It didn't. It became unfamiliar. This is why you can still lock in when something grabs you hard enough. A deadline, a crisis, something emotionally charged. In those moments, your brain doesn't feel the urge to escape, because escape isn't necessary. But when the task is slow, or ambiguous, or requires patience before reward, your attention slips. Not because you're incapable, because your mind has learned that staying is optional, and optional things get abandoned. Here's the part that explains why this feels so frustrating. Your brain now reacts to stillness the same way it used to react to danger, not consciously. Physiologically, when nothing is happening, your system doesn't relax. It searches for input, for movement, for something to respond to. That's why silence feels loud. That's why reading feels harder than scrolling. That's why even thinking feels interrupted. Your mind isn't tired, it's overstimulated. Constant switching drains far more energy than deep focus ever did. But because the switching feels lighter in the moment, it wins, over and over, until one day you realize you can't sit with anything anymore, and you don't know why. Here's what makes this cycle stick. Every time you give in to the urge to escape, the urge gets faster next time. Your brain learns timing. It doesn't wait as long before pulling you away. So, what used to take an hour to break your focus now takes minutes, then seconds. Eventually, you don't even feel distracted. You just feel scattered. And scattered feels like who you are now. But it isn't. It's a condition your nervous system adapted into. And adaptations can reverse, but not by force. Trying harder doesn't work because effort triggers the same escape response. That's why productivity systems fail. That's why motivation fades. That's why self-blame makes everything worse. You're fighting a pattern with pressure. Pressure only teaches the brain one thing: get out faster. The shift happens when you stop treating focus like a performance and start treating it like tolerance. Tolerance for slowness, for delay, for the feeling that nothing is happening yet. Because focus doesn't arrive at the beginning, it arrives after you stay. That's the rule your brain forgot. So the work isn't to concentrate harder. It's to remain present a little longer than your instincts want you to. When the urge to check hits, don't negotiate with it. Don't distract yourself from it. Just notice it. Sit there while your mind fidgets, while it invents reasons to move, while it tells you this is pointless. That agitation isn't failure, it's withdrawal. You're removing the stimulus your brain expects. And when it doesn't get it, it reacts. But reactions fade if you don't reward them. Even a minute of staying changes the signal. Not dramatically, not instantly, but enough. Over time, your system relearns something simple. Nothing bad happens when I don't leave, and once that belief returns, focus follows. Quietly, without hype, without force. So if you're wondering why your attention doesn't feel the way it used to, it's not a disorder, it's not a flaw, it's a habit your brain learned under constant stimulation. And habits don't disappear because you understand them. They disappear when you stop feeding them, one moment at a time.